What's good, everybody? I'm Johnny Danger.
I'm Jesse Wheeler.
And we are
the Dangerous Dudes.
Before we get started, just want to remind you guys that it helps when you like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications, and it'll help support the channel. So today we have a very interesting subject that we kind of pulled from the deep depths of our brains.
Deep depths of the ocean. So the concept is, if you encountered an alien, somebody who never experienced certain popular music, let's just say an alien from the depths of the ocean, because we all know that's where they're coming from.
Most likely.
Obviously. And you wanted to introduce the alien to Kiss.
Or your favorite band.
Whatever favorite band.
Right.
So for me, the conversation would be Kiss. I want this alien to experience Kiss.
With one song.
And I only have one song.
Okay.
So what's your song? And so for me, the song is Detroit Rock City from Destroyer, right there. I think that song embodies the essence of Kiss. It's a big time rock and roll song.
It's not your favorite Kiss song.
It's not my favorite Kiss song. We'll get into that later.
Okay.
But I think if you're going to make a new fan of this alien from the depths of the ocean, that Detroit Rock City is the song. Still wearing the makeup, costumes, the whole shebang, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
That's the song that I don't see how any being would hear that song, see them, and be like, that's not for me. Like, to me, it's like, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, the alien would ask you, like, are they touring anymore? And you'd say, well, not currently. They just retired, but...
Never say never.
Never say never. I'm saying there might be a chance.
There's definitely a chance.
Okay.
So that's my song. What would you pick?
For Kiss?
For Kiss.
So I have a bunch off the top of my head that I would gladly introduce an alien to. But one song that would embody the feeling that I got when I was first introduced to Kiss, because remember, I was a late bloomer. I was late to the Kiss party. It's a band that, you've had with you in your life since you were a little kid. I recently got into them for real right around 2020. I was tiptoeing and dancing around them. I used to kind of pick on you for like having them as your favorite band because I just thought it was all Kiss and makeup. But then I started to, dig in and realize, wait a minute, there's a ton of good songs on this record. Oh, on this record, this one too. Like, when you have that many great songs on that many great albums, you need to be appreciated, respected, and listened to. So the one song that I would recommend to an alien to start their Kiss experience would be the first song off the first record, Strutter.
That's a good choice. I think both those songs embody who Kiss is, who they were.
What they started as?
Yeah, that
raw.
Strutter has the energy, that early hunger, the energy.
Destroyer has an amazing production.
Yeah, Destroyer has the production that the first three albums didn't have, but the first three albums have so much content that any new Kiss listener would certainly be I guess, interested in, impressed with. That's my perspective on it, and I don't want to hear another one. So the interesting thing about this conversation is that would be the song I would pick to show a new listener, but it's not my favorite Kiss song. My favorite Kiss song...
It's got to be from Hotter Than Hell.
Absolutely. Like, anybody who knows me, knows my Kiss fandom, knows that that's my favorite record. It's the best Kiss record. It really isn't any conversation there, but and it's not Hotter Than Hell or one of the more famous songs. It's an obscure song that they've never played live other than on the Kiss cruises. It's a song called All the Way, which I just think is it's like a pop, it's a Gene song, which is interesting. Gene song, but just I think it's a perfect like pop rock song from that era. The bad production aside, I think actually is kind of endearing in that song. It's just, that's just the way it's always been consumed because there are no other versions of it. They don't play it live. That's just the way I've always listened to it. And so there are many Kiss like fringe fans, people that like Rock and Roll All Night. They like Love Gun. They like Detroit Rock City. Maybe Beth. I Was Made for Loving You. A lot of people love that song. They know those songs, but they don't know
100,000
years.
100,000 years, yeah.
They don't know that song. I would definitely recommend go listen to it. It's a song. I just have a hard time thinking that people wouldn't like that song. It's a really well written song, I think. That's my take. What about you? What's your favorite Kiss song?
So, well, my favorite Kiss song, Strutter. But if you wanted to talk about what my favorite band song, my favorite band, if I had to look historically and be honest with myself, it is Van Halen. What would be the song that would best represent Van Halen to an alien life form? Not my favorite song,
right,
but the best song to give them the whole Van Halen experience. And it would have to be from this record, the album that changed my life and made me an absolute rock and roll, obsessive, compulsive, creative person from 8 years old. It would have to be Panama. Now, again, not my favorite Van Halen song, but it encapsulates everything. It's got the great riffs, the great David Lee Roth shtick and vocal performance, the unbelievable drums, the production, great guitar solo. We were listening to 1984 on the golf course Monday with I was out there with Matt, and he was teeing up in the tee box, getting ready to get his feet set, concentrating, and I have on Bluetooth speaker Panama playing, and the middle part of the song comes up with David Lee Roth singing, "Yeah, we're running a little bit hot tonight," and Matt couldn't help himself but laughing, and you know, it's just an amazing song. The alien would probably be wondering,
what are you talking about?
Yeah, what does he mean he's going to ease the seat back? Like, for what?
So my pick would be from the same album, but would be Hot for Teacher. That has, to me, that is one of the most unique songs ever written. Certainly, like, Van Halen has a lot of, unique sounding songs, but just the song structure itself, just a frenetic pace, guitar solo, finger tapping, crazy drum beat. To me, that embodied, and the DLR, like, hoots and hollers and just crazy DLR stuff are all there. And I don't know how you don't love that song. Like, it's how anybody, like, certainly an alien from the depths of the ocean is going to immediately be like, this is what I came here for. Right? Like, this is what Earth must be all about.
Right.
And like,
this really worth the trip.
Right. It was definitely worth coming here. I'm not going to kill you guys now.
I couldn't hear this anywhere else. There's no drum beat like this other than maybe
I'll Be Damned by Castle Bravo. Check it out.
So maybe it was inspired by that song a little bit, but we had a drummer back in the day that could pull it off. So no apologies to anybody.
Nope. So definitely that would be my pick.
Again, it's not
my favorite song.
It's not my favorite song.
What's your favorite song?
So if I had to give a concise answer to that, it would only be based upon what is my favorite Van Halen song currently, right? Like, with all the albums and over all the years, how could I just pick one? But if I had to, it's been Hear About It Later from Fair Warning for quite a while right now. It's got everything from start to finish that you'd want in a Van Halen song. It's got the great Eddie Van Halen single guitar intro. It's a little melancholy, great lyrics. It's just got such a unique feel to it, and it's a deep cut. So yeah, it would be Hear About It Later. What's
Mine's Light Up the Sky from PH2. Just that's punk rock. Like, that is just frenetic.
It's punk rock, borderline prog.
Yeah, it's just a unique song structure, just right out of the gate, punches you in the face, like haymaker across the face, and it just doesn't stop from there. Other than that little like breakdown section that just come when it rises back up into the solo, like it's just incredible.
Open your eyes, baby. Yeah,
it's that to me. That's my favorite song. Always will be. They were opening shows in that era. We were talking about earlier Van Halen opening for Sabbath in England at that point.
Those poor guys in 1978 when Van Halen is going like this and Black Sabbath is going like this. That's who you have as your opener on tour.
It's like,
you imagine trying to follow that?
Yeah, you're coming out like you're on your home turf, thinking you're going to have this amazing show. The band's struggling. They want to kick out the lead singer. And then the label picks Van Halen, this band from California that nobody knows about, nobody gives a shit about in England. And you have like this just like DLR with the assless chaps, EVH with the insane guitar playing, Alex, amazing drummer, Michael Anthony with the crazy harmonies, like all of that stuff in like a whirlwind of probably like a 35-40 minute set. And Sabbath must have been backstage like, what are we supposed to do now?
What are we doing?
Like, we're going to come out there with like the like the crowd is like in this frenzy. And apparently the English crowds loved it.
They did. I've heard this story several times where their first couple shows there, before word got out about this super hot band from California in the United States, the initial crowd reaction was just this mouth agaped silence at the end of their set. And then, like you see in movies, right? The silence, like, oh, did they hate it? Did they hate it? And then, like, this roar of applause. And think about, the late 70s, this introduction to this fretboard wizardry of Eddie Van Halen and just blowing people's minds back when you could blow people's minds. Jimi Hendrix broke in England, and then 10 years later, you get this other kid that changed the instrument all over again.
For sure.
It's just an incredible, tie-in, and it's just probably the two most important guitar players in modern, whatever you consider modern era guitar playing would be. And this was the next revolution, and just to be just to be a fly on the wall during those shows, I would pay top dollar just to be in the Black Sabbath dressing room,
have a time machine, go back to that.
Yeah, and just say like, hey guys, what do you think about following these boys? You feeling good tonight?
They were probably like
in the corner, just like, just huffing lines of snow.
What are we gonna do? You got any new songs? You got anything more upbeat?
Shit!
Damn it. I mean, and that's somewhat similar. There's parallels to Kiss. As Kiss was beginning to break, they were making their hay as a live band. The studio records hadn't caught on yet. This is before Alive. There's a great story about Kiss opening for Blue Oyster Cult.
Oh, yeah.
In 75, I think it is. Alive hadn't quite broke yet. And Kiss was unapologetic at that point. They came in, we're doing the pyrotechnics. We're getting our big lighted up band signed on the stage one way or another. We're not doing it without that. And you have to think like a band like Blue Oyster Cult, nothing against them, a good band, We got a band coming out in costumes with like explosions and good songs at that point. All the songs on Alive are great. Like, how do you follow that? And fast forward a couple years later, Blue Oyster Cult's opening for Kiss. And Kiss is like the biggest band in the world
Talk
at this
about
point.
full circle.
Because it was just like, how do you follow that act, especially at the point both of those bands as opening acts had a hunger that is just really difficult to hold back.
And a disregard for naysayers or people that were trying to like rein them in. I'm sure the tour managers for Black Sabbath, when they were talking to Van Halen, like, hey guys, maybe just tone it down a little bit tonight. And the tour manager for Blue Oyster Cult, like, hey guys, you think maybe you could just like bring it a notch down? And those guys were like, no.
David, do you have any pants that cover your butt cheeks? Like, no. We're getting ready to blow that industry up. Funny thing, Gene, one of his costumes at that point also showed a bunch of his butt cheeks.
Really?
Yes. Yep.
So he was an ashless chaps dude too?
Not quite like the DLR ones, but just like a bit of the backside.
Do you believe that whole story, or you think it was sensationalized that like Gene Simmons basically kind of discovered Van Halen?
So it depends on who you listen to. Gene will tell you, well, I discovered them. And
he basically says that I produced their first record, but it didn't go anywhere. The record.
And he also will say, like, right before this record, Eddie was unhappy with the band. They were fighting with DLR. He came to them and said he wanted to join Kiss, and Gene talked him out of it. Whether or not that's real,
I've heard that
Gene tells the story. He just told that story on the Billy Corgan show, The Magnificent Others. Great web show. Definitely check it out.
Yeah, check into it. It's very good.
But he tells that story that he had to talk Eddie out of it. Can you imagine? They kick Ace out of the band, and Eddie Van Halen is the new guitar player of Kiss. And what's his makeup going to be? Like, what character would he have played?
I got to tell you.
You would have immediately known that this was at the point where they were still hiding their identities. It's like, all right, he's got the like Frankenstein guitar. I think that's Eddie Van Halen. He's dressed up as a chicken.
What would be the funniest would have been if all three of them were in makeup and just
Eddie was like, just up there. No, like his makeup is like the Frankenstein guitar paint.
I'd be interested to hear from our viewers. Like, what would be the one song that you would play to an alien life form that was interested in, your music, your culture, and maybe this was like, something that you could do to, convince them to not like suck out your brains or harvest your eggs or kill your family. Maybe just listen. Maybe you just have like a bourbon or a tequila. Let's just listen to some music and just chill out, man.
What got you into loving? Like, that's the thing with Kiss for me, Van Halen for you. That's what got me obsessed with music and wanting to be like a musician, a rock star.
Right.